Hi, my name is Shawn Taylor. That's my friend. That's my friend Ford, friend Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter fame. And listen, even though that we're still broken up over this D&D thing, we're gonna work and be good parents, for you. Even though we're separated, but we're together as parents to you people. And that's why we're here today. Listen, I've been watching Ted Lasso all week. It's real emotional. It's messing with my heartstrings real bad. So, but welcome to Avatar: The Last Podcasters. This week we are ranking every Firebender, at least every Firebender of any kind of notable appearance within the canon Avatar universe. And Chris, thoughts, news? How are you? How you been?
I am good. Boy, I don't even know what. I'm good.
Chris, I've got news. And that's tomorrow.
That was such a combination of words from someone who's like under some type of influence, which I've never done.
It felt disconnected and shoved together. But I have news. I'm making a sizable Switch game purchase tomorrow. I'm buying my friend's collection because he's moving and he just decided he's kind of done with it. So I'm very selfishly spending lots of money tomorrow. So if you have any like pity to give to somebody who doesn't deserve it, I'm very tight. It's very hard on me to do this, but I'm also very excited. I'm going to buy a bunch of Switch games tomorrow. I'm stoked, actually. It's probably
How many?
There's like 200 games in there.
So wait, how many do you have right now?
I think I've got 350, and there's only about...
Ooh, you'll be
there's only...
You must love this. You must love this system.
I think it's the last... I honestly think it's the last system I'll ever kind of care about in any nostalgic way, but it's also like the first system I ever picked. Like every other system I ever had just like came to me or was given to me or whatever. This is the first one we ever picked, and we're adults, so it's probably the last one we'll ever have. But in that 200 over my 350, there's only like 40 to 50 of overlap. There's very little overlap, which is fantastic. So, yeah, I'm stoked.
You can sell the overlap.
I'm gonna have to make some more room on the shelves, but I'm very excited. Like I said, it's probably the biggest silly luxurious purchase that I've ever done for literally no reason. So that's pretty cool. Chris, do you want to rank some Firebenders?
Let's do this again.
And I'm going to pay extra close attention to our microphone modulation this time. But the good news is they get the edited version, Chris. They don't get the us, rearranging stuff mid-show. They get the clean, the final cut.
Maybe they like that. Maybe they like the rearrangement conversations and stuff going on.
I kind of do. It feels real. You know what I mean? When we do that. But that's fine. Chris, here's how this is going to go. I'm going to name a name, and then you're going to explain our logic, and then we will explain or not apologize for. We don't apologize for anything here, but we will quell your anger and outrage at our responses with our thought process. And we have 25 of these. You dug up 25 noteworthy.
I bet no one will guess number one.
Nobody, Chris. I am comfortable saying that nobody outside of this call right here would guess number one. And Chris, I went back and I re-looked at some clips, and I'm more convicted than ever. I was already like you had me convinced from the beginning.
Yeah.
Even more convinced now. Let's start at number 25. Let's start at the bottom, work our way up. Number 25 is Azulon, which just kind of makes me chuckle.
This is we know he's a Firebender. This just comes from a lack of knowledge and a lack of examples. So he's stuck at 25. I'm sure I don't care to do too much speculation. It could have been crappy, but I don't know. So 25.
You got to play the hand that you're dealt, and we got nothing to work with. Chris, it feels disingenuous when we screw things up and we have to re-record to make the same joke. You know what I mean? But I'm going to make it, and I'm going to say, I bet he couldn't create his own fire. He could only bend fire that was already there. Hashtag.
Oh yeah, you said I did. I didn't realize last time that was a joke. I thought you were just saying that. And I kind of thought it was cool, like if it was a bender, but maybe he was like extra capable with it, like able to manipulate it a little better. He just couldn't create his own.
Just
That would be
couldn't.
kind of
No, I
interesting.
was just making a Shyamalan joke.
Oh yeah.
Not a
I
very
didn't
good
even
one,
mind
but
that.
um,
I didn't mind that change.
I didn't. I listen. It's one of those things I piled on top of lots of other things in a bad movie, but just by itself, it's
Mhm.
moderately inoffensive. Like, it's not like
Yeah,
Aang creates air,
true.
you know. So yeah, but not my favorite change. Number 24, Key.
Key, she is the little sister of Zuko, who's not Azula. She's also the little sister of Azula as well. Um, half sister. Anyway, her most notable firebending, she like bent fire through a steel door, which that was really cool. Like a whole hole in there.
She is.
Other than that, I don't see much from her.
She's Anthony Richardson. She's the young person with a lot of potential, lot of young person skill. High ceiling on her. Number 23, Yon Ra.
Yon Ra, you know who Yon Ra is? You're a yawn loser. No, I'm kidding. Nah, he's a loser. He really.
That was really harsh. Hey, you missed this one episode where they said this guy's name? You're an embarrassment.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be a good trivia question. I've been doing. What is the name of guitarist? It'll be hard to come up with other names though. Anyway,
Yeah.
uh, what was I about to say? Oh, Yun Ra. He is the killer of Katara's mom. He was the leader of the Southern Raiders. So he must be a pretty notable. I think no firebending. We don't see much of him. At his old age, we do see him firebending a little bit. Um, and yeah. So no, by default, he's down there.
At least he has some political clout, which I'm using as a segue to number 22, and that is Zhao, who.
Yeah, Zhao. While he is titled a master firebender, that's like just in title only, probably just from his career path that like fire like once you reach that certain rank, like, oh yeah, you're a master. But he got beat by season one Zuko in Agni Kai. I'm sure he is and also he doesn't know the real ways of firebending. He uses it purely for aggression. Like more than anyone else we see in the show. Like there's almost no skill to it, just all aggression.
He gives other
Yeah,
firebenders the bad reputation. It's guys like him.
definitely.
I would also. Yeah, that's enough crap talking on Zhao. Zhao sucks. And he doesn't show himself well as a bender either. Chris, number 21 is Monkey. The monkey. I had the same question last time. I want to say monkey, but then I think I'm making a joke, and that's not the case. He's the Rough Rhinos leader.
Yeah. Also, the killer of Jet. Man, we got a lot of not the killer of Jet. That is that's Long Fei. The killer of Jet's like I
Family,
suppose
yeah.
his family in his village.
I think that's a
Yeah,
reasonable enough
I
implication.
think so too. I assume Jet had a family before because he's so freaking full of conviction now that I'm pretty sure he had at least some parents. Because if you're like an orphan, and at that time, if you're an orphan, you're probably I'm imagining orphans are like Kyoshi, that they're all just kind of abandoned. Um, you probably wouldn't have as much love for your village, and when it's burned down, you probably wouldn't have as much hate and resentment for the Fire Nation. So I assume Jet had a family.
Chris, if my parents die tomorrow, am I an orphan? At what age is it okay for your
That's a
parents
good
to
question.
die and then you're not an orphan anymore?
I mean, probably 18.
Okay. That's probably the most logical answer that we could offer. Anyway, currently, just I'm not an orphan. I'm fine. Number 20 is so. This is.
Um,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I'm not reading that.
Number 20 is where it feels like we're taking a really big jump, and you'd be like, "How is this number 20?" And just all I could say is just wait, just hold your breath. Number 20 is Korra and the other avatars that we will not name specifically, and I can't tell you those yet. But Korra and the other avatars. And Chris, I think it's safe to say that Korra was probably a fairly accomplished firebender, if I had to guess.
I assume so. I should separate Kuruk. Because Kuruk was challenging other firebenders at Agni Kai's all the time.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm doing Kuruk enough credit here. Let's put Kuruk at.
Well,
never mind.
What if
we won't change anything?
I would say we don't have to change anything, but I think it would be.
I would just separate him from the other avatars.
If you said 20A was Korra and 20B was other avatars, I think that's reasonable. But he was he was a great firebender. And we're only at number 20 is the part that's wild. Like we don't meet bad firebenders in the show is the issue. Sorry, we don't meet non-skilled firebenders in the show.
Yeah.
That being said, go ahead. I keep interrupting
you. Oh, sorry. We can. It's safe to assume that all the avatars have mastered firebenders in this list. So yeah.
19. Kyoshi.
Firebending is probably the element she took to the easiest. Actually, I would probably think that's pretty for sure. Air she can take easily. Earth she can only do big things when she was concentrating. Water, Kyoshi's kind of a freaking klutz. She's not as smooth and fluid. It's her. If any, I feel like if any bending was the opposite, it would be water for her. But fire came pretty natural to her. She was also able to breathe fire, I think at least once without the avatar state.
Yeah,
she did. Yeah, she did.
I have a hard time separating her from one time. One of the things that I'm like, did we get this right? Would be her or number 18, Aang. To me, it's a toss-up. I don't know if I have a problem with the way it's ordered, but that's a really close. It took Aang much longer, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not a better firebender, of course.
Yeah, one of the things that is in Aang's favor is that he knows how to redirect lightning, and that is a firebending skill. And I don't think anybody can redirect lightning. And he's a pretty natural firebender. He picked it up pretty easily when he met John Jong. He did learn from the dragon, so he understands the element very well. And he uses to pretty good effect.
You will always get bonus points from me if you learn something from dragons. 100% works your way into my heart. Number 17 is Lightning Bolt Zolt.
Yes, Lightning Bolt Zolt, the gang leader in Republic City, kind of a one-trick pony. He does a lot of lightning bending, and he does do it in a really cool and fluid way. He's definitely a master of it. Yeah. So he's there. I don't see him doing any other firebending.
It's a one-trick pony, but you mentioned he looks natural at it. It's not like he just figured out how to do this thing and then never progressed ever. Clearly it is a practiced art for him. So, yeah, that feels good. Number 16, we put Korra.
Avatar Korra. This is definitely an element that she utilized the most, which is interesting because she is a native waterbender. We see her using firebending while she's on top of a 20-foot typhoon going at 20 miles per hour, at least, probably 40. Yeah, 20 is way too slow. See her do other various things. She uses the element very well. Even in her firebending tests, her use of firebending is tactful. It's also be harsh. She's a really great firebender. She shows a lot of prowess in firebending, I think especially in season 1.
Opposite of waterbending kind of makes sense, but personality-wise, she feels like a person who would be good at firebending, and I mean that in a good way. Number 15, we have Jong Jong.
John doesn't get enough credit. Holding him back is that he doesn't have the basic, not the basic, because it's advanced. He doesn't
He doesn't know
have
the
the,
basics of firebending.
yeah, he doesn't have the understanding of what the element can truly be. He only sees it for the destruction that fire causes. But he's a really powerful firebender. Like during Substance comment, he's using the jet propulsions like very in a very good way. He's just as probably better than anyone except for Ozai during Substance comment. He can build huge freaking walls. Even not during Substance comment, he built a huge wall. Even though, well, I don't know. I mean, that was more so of a trick because Zhao just walked straight through it. He was like, "This is a trick." But on Day of Black Sun, he was a freaking astonishing firebender.
He just went too far to the opposite end of the spectrum. But there's some
Mm-hmm.
skill in there somewhere. I think. Yeah, I'm almost wondering. You said if we got enough credit, but I'm sitting here looking as like, it's a good thing we're not going head to head because like there's a lot of people below him that would beat him just by nature of actually using the element. Just by nature of like using it, but no, we're not going that route. So I think that's right, Chris. I think this is where things start to get kind of interesting, kind of spicy, if you will. That's number 14. You have Juan, the OG.
Juan, the OG Avatar. Am I volume check? Is this all still good?
Yep,
Still good.
volume.
Still good.
Yeah,
Still
no,
good?
I
Okay.
can still see
All
both of our
right.
volumes
All right.
modulating.
We'll just break up. Just it's better to break up the podcast and check than after record.
It's like a 10-second. What do you call it
Well,
on the radio when they're like 10? Well, we got to take 10 seconds for station identifications.
this
Yeah, I
is
got to take 10 seconds to check our microphones.
Juan. He learned. He was like the first person to see learning from a dragon, and I feel like what took him above is that I think in no other character does the element feel like a true extension of themselves. Maybe that's done because there's exposition on top of showing him training with a dragon, and that other guy being like, Juan, he does it like it's an extension of himself. Like I've never seen someone firebending like that. Also, Juan used firebending in his fight against Unavat, not Unavat, just Vatu. I think even before he went to the Avatar state. So he's a very well accomplished firebender.
Juan is like on First Take or whatever when they're having the argument about like you take that guy and you plug him in today's NBA, Chris. Put him in today's NBA. That's how I always feel about Juan. But no,
I always hate those arguments because like they never say if you take an NBA player today and put it back then. If you take
right,
the
if you
average
put
NBA
Steph
player,
Curry in the NBA before the 3-point line existed, like obviously that'd be great. No, we do fall a little bit on different sides of that argument because, as a general rule, people get bigger.
they get bigger, better, and faster, and more talented, and
that doesn't
stuff,
necessarily mean better at a thing, but I think in general humans get bigger fast. But in Juan's case, is there some sort of extra level of like there's no telephone game. It's like pure learning it from the lion turtle. Like that's got to count for something. He put up a fight against Vatu just by himself with no knowledge of firebending other than what he learned from the lion turtle.
dragon.
Like, from the dragon. Pardon
From
me.
the dragon. Yeah.
There's something to be said for that. So no, I'll bite. That's just what that argument reminds me of is if you took that man and put him in today. Number 13 is Zuko.
Prince,
there
aka
goes our last
Firelord
fans right there.
Zuko. I know people will be surprised. Like official Avatar sites. What I'm curious. I'm kind of curious to look at the
just like
official
ranker.com
website
Firebender ranked.
Like they probably have Zuko way high, but Zuko's really good. Like Zuko's lucky to. He's right where he's lucky to get lower because there's a couple firebenders here that Now, why did I put? Anyway, Zuko, number 13. He knows how to redirect lightning. Um, and that's probably what gives him the edge over these Nets too, is that he knows how to redirect lightning and he learned from the dragons. I don't give too much credence for like Zuko learning and Aang learning from the dragon because we're there for like a day. Like Juan was there for a long time. Like you saw his hair change to show the grass, the changing of the
To
time.
show that time had passed.
Yeah. But still, Zuko's a really great firebender. Man,
We
I,
didn't give too much credit to redirecting lightning, but sort of to Zuko's study, um, and just like longevity, like getting to see young Zuko and the progression to old Zuko and Korra. Like I think we gave that some credit in our initial
yeah.
discussion.
Yeah, and again, these rankings aren't necessarily who we think would win in a fight. Like this isn't ranked by who is the strongest. This is ranked by who's the best at their element, given their skills, their strength, um, and other things. Like, yes, I can't think of mostly like how varied are they in understanding of their element.
You know,
So that's why Zuko is. Oh, I'm fine with Zuko being 13. Why am I? Oh my gosh, I'm freaking tripping right now.
13.
He's right
Yeah,
where I want where I'm at. Yeah.
13's a great spot for him. I like the way that you said it better, but I am going to summarize and say it's not who would win a fight so much as like who would you want on your team? What firebenders would you, right? You want the diversity, the skill, the power. Chris, number 12 is Rangi.
Yes, Rangi. Probably she my favorite firebender. Let me see.
Is she? No, she's not. Stop it, Chris. Get out of here.
She, she's my favorite person. She's my favorite firebender, as in like I like when this person uses fire the most. Not that I like this character the most.
I wouldn't have guessed that either, but well, fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I'm looking at this list.
So,
Yeah.
Rangi, we're only getting young Rangi, but there's an immense amount of skill displayed at even her young age. Great tutelage, right? Literally learned from the best of her time, which is very exciting.
Yeah, she learned from Heyron, who I'll just go ahead and skip ahead, is at number 11.
Yeah,
these two,
segue.
If you want to swap them, that's perfectly fine. I don't see any reason. Oh,
well, we
had
just
Heyron
have more.
Higher.
Yeah, we have more tangible evidence of Heyron just literally killing people for sport.
I don't think she killed people. She didn't like maim and like severely injure people, but she probably also did kill other.
Did you just incidentally quote Dobby from the Harry Potter movie?
I didn't. I didn't mean to. I guess I did.
That's a good quote. But
what did Dobby say?
Dobby only meant to maim or seriously injure. It's one of my favorite lines from those movies. So earnest. Yeah, I think we just have more hard evidence that Heyron.
But she was like one of the baddest mofos on the planet.
Will right, not about talent, but like the will she do it, and the answer being yeah. And I think we just.
Also, she's a great. Also, like there's more credence because she is a teacher. Like she like Rangi isn't a teacher, so I give Heyron a little bit more credit for that.
Heyron also like she's on a couple of team avatars essentially, like she's sort of got the worldly experience that cannot be I don't know, that you're not born with. You can only acquire that over time, so that's gotta count for something. Chris, number 10 is Zhu.
Zhu, the leader of the Yellow Necks. He fought Avatar Kyoshi. He was one of the first lightning benders, and it was freaking amazing to just read. Like I think when I first read that,
is he the first
I reread it
lightning bender that we have? Like that we know as canon. See the first one?
Yes. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's a great firebender. And yeah, but his main thing is being lightning bend. And he lightning bends the crap out of Kyoshi like several times.
And we only see like fresh out of prison Ju. Like we don't even see
Yeah,
Kyoshi. We get a small glimpse. You don't get him like. There's no way that guy didn't have a little rust to shake off, and just didn't get to. So, yeah, I think leader of a horrifying tribe of bandits / first lightning bender. That's kind of cool. Number 9, speaking of lightning benders, is Mako.
Number 9, Mako. Volume check. Number 9, Mako. He's a great lightning bender. he might be. He's probably like the third best lightning bender. We'll get to some coming up, but probably fourth best. He can lightning bend with just a flick of the wrist. Like Amon had his bending. Amon had him blood bended, and Mako was able to still summon lightning just from one little flick. That definitely means something. He's a very capable firebender. Also utilizing the more modern fighting styles. Yeah, he's probably in Legend of Korra's time frame. I would gather he's probably the second best. No, probably third best firebender.
That seems reasonable to me. Number 8 is Sozin.
Firelord Sozin, like when he attacked to Avatar Roku, that was a great display of firebending. Probably one of the greatest displays of firebending without a power-up associated with it. And he also knew a little bit of lightning redirection. Like, he was able to redirect the heat, which confused the crap out of me still. He was able to take the heat from the volcano and exit it out. So that's a very highly skilled technique. Yeah.
Has the same powers as a fan. Cool. No, I think... I mean, he took on Firelord Roku. Not Firelord. Goodness, I can't talk. Avatar Roku and won. Yeah. So that's got to say something without an Avatar state or any other bending styles. Chris, that's a great segue to number 7, which is Roku.
Yeah, Roku pretty much just copy and paste everything from Sozin, but he was slightly better at it. Let's see, what can I think of? Same techniques and stuff. He's an avatar. This is a native element. Like, he's a great firebender.
And again, you get one of the sort of bigger, badder displays of firebending period from Roku, just like a single instance. So that's very exciting. Chris, number 6. We had a pretty good talk about him in our failed recording of this. Combustion Man. Number 6, Combustion Man, who I assume his real name is probably Phil.
I really hope one day we learn what his name is.
Zuko
knows his Zuko knows his name, because when Sokka's like, you sent Combustion Man after us, and he's like, well, yeah, but that's not his name. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't know your friend's name. He's not my friend.
He doesn't say the name, does he?
No, but he knows the name.
He con friend, buddy.
That reminds me of.
Never thought of that.
Oh, it's so dark, sort of. But on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that Jake is like best friends with that serial killer.
No, the car thief, Doug Judy.
No, he is friends with Doug Judy, and that's cool. But he's also friends with that cannibal.
Oh, in prison. In
prison. This kid.
I was like, Doug Judy's not a killer? What the hell, Chris?
No.
He got some weird fan theories, like he kills people and steals their cars.
Judy's pretty.
Oh, I love Doug Judy. He's like my favorite character in that show. Yeah, the cannibal in prison. Okay, I'm with you. The guy's weird.
Those are so funny because, like, I don't know, it's just so funny that they are good. Like, Jake does, like, they get along, they have a little bit banter back and forth, but he is like like a child killer. Like he likes to eat babies.
Chris, I'm gonna
How
call
did they
that a
make that
friend
funny?
of. I'm gonna call that a friend of circumstance more than a real friend. That is
No, yeah, they're not really friends, but he acts friendly. Or, yeah,
It's because he's got a
definitely in
naturally
prison. Yeah, probably because he has a natural tendency to get along with
charisma.
people
Yeah.
and make connections.
um, anyway, Combustion Man, who has a real name,
Combustion Man.
Combustion Man.
Speaking of freaking Combustion Ben. Oh, we was also talking that we would probably put the other Combustion Benders from the Kyoshi novels. Spoiler alert in there. Probably around his
the Yang Chen novel. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they called? Unit something? Unity?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Unanimity.
Unanimity. There we go.
Unanimity.
Unanimity.
I keep wanting to say United We Stand, which is the Yu-Gi-Oh card.
I feel like I'm not getting excited. I should be getting excited for this book coming up. We talked about it in the last episode. I feel like the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm just like, more unanimity. More of me going in my brain, unanimity, Illuminati.
Chris, I haven't even thought about it since we talked about it, and that's bad, because usually after, I want you to take this as a compliment, usually after podcast night, like I'll lay in bed and I'll think about stuff, like, yeah, that was good, yeah, that's bad, or like, oh, I totally forgot about this, I'm glad Chris reminded me, like good stuff. I haven't thought about that book after we talked, and that's just a bad sign, is all I can say. Combustion Man.
I learn more about Kyoshi. No, I'm at Yang Chen. Dang
it. Combustion Man is we likened him to Rudy Gobert, and we went on a Timberwolves NBA tangent, but like being really, really good at one really cool, really helpful thing. Like we don't want to undersell how cool that one thing is, and that's why he's up this high. Like he's at number 6.
Thing is though, like he was fairly like unbeatable. Like Aang didn't even scratch him in their fight.
And he was
all of Team Avatar kept running from him.
He was big and athletic too, and the claws, like just as a whole being, he's a terrifying human being. And he got beat by a fluke.
Yeah, just a fluke.
Just a fluke.
It's like
a biblical
parable,
not a parable, a biblical retelling, and that's it. That's what took him down. But no, Combustion Man, it is a one-trick pony. It's just that it's an amazing trick. It is a trick that you definitely want on your team. You want the 7'3" guy that's moderately nimble for his size. But that is a great segue into one of our favorites, which is number 5, one of my favorites maybe, Pali, who is Combustion Man, except for like she can wanted bullet curve that stuff. That's amazing.
Yeah. Pali is like Combustion Man, but like this is like Mach 2. Like she can freaking curve the bullet like wanted. Great movie. Talked about this last night. I think it's a great movie. I think it's
an okay movie that I find myself watching about once a year, regardless of my feelings. It makes me come back, Chris.
But also, she is an amazing firebender. Like, when she breaks out of prison, fresh out, Zuko on his dragon, the dragon breathes fire on her, and she just blocks it and evaporates it. Like, holy crap.
This doesn't count for, like, her bending prowess. It's just something I like about her character. It's one thing to have Combustion Man as, like, this really cool mercenary who just does it for money. But there's like a better underlying sense of motivation for Pali, like a different drive, a different motivation that probably makes her slightly more intimidating in a different way. Like if you could pay Combustion Man more money, would he just stop chasing you? Like probably. But
Zuko did offer him more money.
Oh, and it didn't work. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
mission to do. Well, I retract my statement. But no, there's just a better underlying motive for Pali, and she's a great character, which again doesn't play into her power. It's just something. She might be my favorite person Firebender. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Greatest death in the show.
Yeah. Holy crap.
So
you
cool.
know what? No, we should rank deaths.
We should rank deaths.
Episode ranking the deaths, because I just disagree with you. I was about to say what I think is the greatest death.
Don't spoil it.
We'll get to ranking it. Yeah,
don't spoil it. Come back in
Gotta
a few
rank
weeks.
that
We're
down.
ranking deaths. This stuff's going to get dark. I'm going to bring Heather down here. We're going to get consultation from an expert.
Oh god, yeah.
Consultation from... That makes it sound like Heather is dead. Like she's died before. I got an
Thing is,
expert on death.
there are only so many even on-screen deaths.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to, and I think we have to limit it. Like we're gonna have to pick deaths that we get to experience the scene on screen or in the books, right? We can't like I'm gonna say I would scrub Katara's and Sokka's mom out, right? Like I want like on screen,
I wouldn't, because
in scene deaths.
I think we could include it if it's on screen and alluded to, like Katara's mom is. Like we're in that flashback, but like on the other hand,
at least a flashback. I need a bare minimum. I need an experience, not just a story.
Yeah, Gyatso wouldn't count.
Yes.
Like, sure, we see his dead body.
And it's probably awesome for the record.
Yeah, yeah.
His death was probably the coolest.
But whatever
he did to the 50 other firebenders around him was clearly awesome.
Yeah.
I'll stomp my feet at least an experience. If we get a good flashback, I think that's like it gives you something to work off of that's not just a retelling, I guess. So, let's do that. Let's rank deaths. And Pali,
the official YouTube channel won't rank that. They're too weak to do that.
Too soft over there on that channel. But Pali would be very high on this list. How high? I don't know, Chris, but it should be pretty high. Also, as it turns out, tremendous firebender. Number 4 is Azula.
Princess Azula, volume check. Princess Azula. Does Chris have some type of the speech and he just blurt out things? Princess Azula. One of the best lightning benders there is. Like, she's the first one we see. No, she's not. She's the second one we see lightning bending. We see Iroh do it. She is. No, we see Iroh redirecting lightning. We don't see him. Anyway, not important.
I think she's the amazing. First person we see.
I think she is.
Bend lightning.
Iroh redirects lightning from in the episode The Storm, but we don't see him to that point like conjure the lightning and bend it himself.
That might make Azula's like bending it less shocking until you sit there and think like, no, there again, she produced that with her fingers.
Yeah. She became so freaking skilled at it. Like Michael, she can do it with just her whole body. Ty Lee paralyzed her whole body, and Azula was able to lightning bend with just her arms constrained, and she bends lightning out. Also, she can like make constructs with her lightning. She can make balls of lightning. She can make different things with her lightning. She's probably the most like skilled, savvy with the lightning. Everyone else is more just like, I'm creating lightning. She's like, I'm gonna create this thing out of lightning. And then when we get to firebending, she has blue fire, which is a whole nother freaking level. And she's very proficient at it. She is the prodigy of all prodigies when it comes to firebending.
And they're keeping in mind that like she's young too. Right? She goes. She needs help before we can see peak Azula, and so I know that you kind of got to factor that in, that you don't get to see peak Azula, but like the potential there feels untapped, which is unfortunate. Unless you like the good guys winning, in which case it's probably a good thing. Chris, number 3, and I feel like this is where things get heated. I feel like, pun intended.
I am pretty solid on each of these and where they're at. I know they're top 3, but I'm solid on like exactly where I have them ranked at, where we have them ranked at.
Chris, are you ready for this? Then you sound like you sounded very convicted. Number 3 is Iroh, the Dragon of the West.
Iroh, the Dragon of the West. Sorry, Iroh fans. Iroh's my favorite character in Avatar, the show. Iroh created lightning redirection. He is a Dragon of the West. Learned from the dragons. He is a renowned and feared general of the Fire Nation. And he knows how to lightning bend. Like, also redirecting, like, thunder, like natural thunder, I think is probably something he did that is underrated. I think because like natural thunder, when it's not even pointed at anything and it's not directed at you, and you just redirect it, I think is a pretty boss move. He's it's a rough fighter to see that all through and through. Saw it on Chelsea's Comet Day through a huge freaking fire blast to the front walls of Ba Sing Se. Amazing firebender and also a great teacher.
And his actual dragon breath move is
Yeah,
one of the more visually appealing things just to watch in the whole show, in my opinion. Like it's just, I don't know, it's peak. It's what you want to see out of like a peak firebender with a dragon breath move. It feels, I know it feels dirty that his that it's this low, but try to keep those spiritual elements a little separate if you're thinking about this, or if you're thinking about our logic, and hopefully that makes you feel better about it.
Yep.
Final thoughts on Iroh before we move ahead? It feels so final to move away from Iroh.
No, let's go to number 2.
Number 2 is Fire Lord Ozai.
Fire Lord Ozai. People are like, wait, what?
Yeah,
who's
what is
number
that?
one?
What, yeah, I know, right, Chris? If I didn't have the list in front of me, that's what I would say.
Fire Lord Ozai. He is, just by way of the story, from the creators, what they say, he's the greatest firebender of that time, and it only makes sense. But they also show it, like it's not just talk; it's all show. On the Day of Black Sun, when he tries to manipulate Zuko into staying so he can kill him, he did a freaking double lightning strike. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do the double lightning strike. Like, it's one thing to just like have one hand lightning bend, but 2 hands, you're able to do that.
That
Very impressive.
It's like it literally takes twice the talent, but like somewhere in there, like, yeah, it takes at least, twice the focus and concentration and sort of innate ability to do it twice as to once. Or if it's, if bending lightning once for an unskilled person is dangerous, then bending it out of both fingers, like, there's got to be a duplicative implication in there, doesn't there? And then that doesn't even, I mean, that like goes without saying, like, he takes on the Avatar and puts up a tremendous fight.
Yeah.
Against a fantastic Avatar.
Yeah, and even if we look at the way he bends during Sozan's Comet, it seems far superior than the other fire benders we see. Like the way he does that, like they call it like a fire seed, and it like the seeding, like it sounds like like a stove starting to turn on, so like or like gas running, like and then he was way more agile, I think, with his feet propulsions than anyone else.
There's a lot of grandeur and sort of practice to all of his movements. Like, it just sort of implies heavy refinement to a tremendous degree. Yeah, it's hard to imagine that he's number 2. But Chris, would you care to regale us as to why he's number 2? Share with us your wisdom and your number 1 pick.
Number 1, I think will be shocking to people. Maybe not shocking, because after they hear it, and I give them,
it will be initially shocking.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, initially shocking. It is General Iroh, and you might be like, wait, what? Oh, you just said General Iroh. I thought he was number 2.
The other General Iroh, you clowns.
Yeah. General Iroh the second. You're thinking, man, go back. You can look it up on YouTube. He is without a doubt, I think, the best firebender. Like, no power-ups, nothing. Just plucked into a situation that he is unfamiliar with. Planes were just invented. Like, this is the first time they're used. And he is fighting airplanes on top of them, jumping. And his jet propulsion is like on par with like Iron Man's Mach 1 suit. Like, he's jumping off of stuff, just flying around. Jet propulsions. His lightning bending is really quick and direct. His fire bending is very quick. It's very powerful. He just puts on a whole display of just like if you just like it's like someone's highlight reel in basketball or something. It's like, oh man, it's like watching Kobe's 81 points.
I just watched the episode of Modern Family yesterday where the family, I don't know if you're a Modern Family guy. I'm liking it. It's my first time through. I'm liking it so far. But they go to a Lakers
That's
game
good.
and Kobe's there, and it's just like it's like very early season 2. I just got a little teardrop, just a water core in my eye
Oh man.
right there. And really, all Kobe does is just like because Phil, the dad who's dumb. I do not like Phil as a character. I know you're not supposed
I
to.
like Phil.
Phil annoys the shit out of me, and he's dumb, and I don't like him. But he like yells at Kobe that he like has a question or whatever, but then he doesn't actually have anything lined up, and Kobe's like, "You got to pregame, you got to pregame practice that stuff, man." And then he runs off, and that's all that happens. But just a little water in my eye. But anyway, Modern Family's good stuff. Chris, the best part.
There's this great clip of Modern Family where where like the kids are listening to the answering machine, like it's really, really old answering machine, and Claire like leaves a message on Phil. It's like when they're first dating. She leaves a message on Phil's answer machine. She's like, Phil, it's Claire. Like, I just need to talk to you about something. Like, it's like really important. It's like life or death. And she's like, well, no, it's not death, but it's life. She's like, I gotta tell you personally, well, it's life. Oh, okay, whatever. I'm pregnant. And then and then like the kids are listening to this because they're going through like old junk. And then she's like, "Oh, we were newlyweds." And then, like on the other machine, she's like, "Oh, we just, I'm sorry, you don't have to marry me or anything. That stupid Duran Duran concert." And then Haley is like, "I was conceived at a Duran Duran concert." She's like, "No, not at the concert. In the car, in the parking lot. It was but." And then I forget the middle child's name. And then the middle child goes like, "Man, I'm surprised they kept it." Alex.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm surprised they kept it. And then it's like, I have a name, excuse me. And then she was like, "No, I was talking about the answering machine."
We really are loving the show. We burned through a whole season in a few days. We're loving the show. I don't like Phil at all. He can.
I haven't watched every episode. I probably watched inadvertently, like probably quarter episodes, but I like more than to watch.
It's good dinner TV, and we tend to like dinner TV shows that are half an hour instead of the full hour, right? Because we sit down, we eat, we watch, and then we actually go be productive adults. But Chris, what I like best. That's a big digression from Kobe to Modern Family to answering machines. What I like best about Iroh the Second's clip, right? So it's like, okay, well, there's really just one display that you get of his abilities, but it's so complete. Like everything is in there, and it's back to back to back to back. And in my head, that makes it undeniable. It's not like he went and did this thing this one time. No, this is like a what am I trying to say? Like an ad hoc, like off the cuff, but using every skill in his toolbox, and all of those skills are amazing. So it's the best possible clip, like one clip that proves everything that you need to see.
Yeah.
It feels disingenuous because it is just one clip. You're like, I could stand to watch some more of that. It's like, well, yeah, you could, but maybe he's too OP. Maybe everything would be over too fast. But it really is fan. Just go watch that clip, and you can't find another clip in the Avatar universe, another snippet of where a person could put all those things together like he does, which makes him a perfect choice for the top pick. Final thoughts.
He's number one.
Final defenses. I think after people listen, or especially like even if they're doubting, I think if they go watch the clip and think about it, I think it would be hard to argue. So, hey, but do argue. Tell us your comments. Give us your thoughts. Let us know how you feel. But definitely go watch that clip first. But tell us how you feel about Firebenders or any of the benders that we've ranked so far. We hope you're watching them all. And as always, I'll put the what do I put? I put stuff. I put details down in the. Gosh, Chris, I'm losing my marbles here. I will put all the information that you need, just like I always do, in the description down below. Next week, we do have one more. It's not to discount the non-benders, but we kind of needed a quick one for next week. So we are going to wrap up with non-benders next week, which will look and feel a little bit different, but come back for that. And then maybe, gosh, I'm really excited to rank deaths. Now, I'm stoked. We're going to have to come back with that sooner than later. That's going to be fun. But in the meantime, also, if you don't mind sparing us your likes, subscriptions, reviews, whatever you're willing to spare for us, that would be amazing. We'd appreciate it. My name's Shawn. That's my friend Chris Ford, a.k.a. The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter fame, Twitter unbanned fame. And thanks for listening to Avatar: The Last Podcasters. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye. I'm not going to check on my kids. They were asking about something. This is why I shouldn't let them have a sleep.
Might be the weirdest unmuted conversation on an outro of all time.